On the edge of space, before time began, there was only the hubverse. Sprocketeers avenged clarity, they dismantled obscurity, they danced when the flywheel spun. Here, we bring you the stories and the journeys to becoming the HubSpot superadmin.
In this episode, we talk with Mario how to be like water, and he talks to us about strategy, structure, and change management. Welcome to Becoming a HubSpot Superadmin podcast, where we are championing the HubSpot Superadmin. With us today, we have Mario Maier, dubbed Super HubSpot Mario. He's a senior HubSpot and RevOps consultant. He's one of the OGs in the HubSpot Superadmin community and makes HubSpot videos on YouTube in German. And in my opinion, just an overall nice guy. Hey, Mario.
Hi, Grant. Hi, Super HubSpot Community.
Hey, everyone out there watching. We've had lots of discussions separately. We did the FinHub video together, the live stream. And I only enjoy myself having fun with Mario. He's just a wealth of knowledge, which then makes us have fun when we chat.
Yeah, that's
I would say. Yeah. So we're going to do the podcast today. We're not going to talk tips and tricks. We're going to talk about Mario. So let's start with your favorite HubSpot tool, Mario. Tell us what it is and why.
Yeah, my favorite HubSpot tool has to be workflows. So there is no other tool in there which is that powerful, that strong, that flexible. So when I have new HubSpot projects, I always explain it to customers like Lego. So you have building blocks and then you can build everything. And even with the custom coded automations, I really have a big dig into the last months because of a very complex project. It's that crazy. So when you know a little bit of Node.js or know a little bit of Python, you can do mainly everything. And that is where the fun really starts. So yeah, that's it. It has to be workflows. So no other feature, is on place one.
Well said. Coming out the gate strong with workflows and custom code. And here's a way to explain it. I explain it like Lego. That's a great way. You have all of these blocks and pieces. How do you want to put them together? In what order? I've never heard that.
That's one of the main differences in comparison to Salesforce. When you want to do there something which is a little bit in comparison to what you can do with HubSpot workflows, you need to code and really hard code it. And with this kind of workflows, we enable really normal sales ops people, marketing ops people to really do great stuff in there.
Love that. Because like you even said, too, paired with the custom coded actions, if you need to go that route, you still can. It's not taken away. However, it's brought closer to you if you can't do that.
That's true.
Okay. All right. So let's start where you're at now. Let's get a couple statements from you, and then we'll go back to where this HubSpot journey began. So tell us what you're doing now and a couple statements about what that looks like day to day.
Yeah, no problem. So I am self-employed, so I have my own HubSpot consulting company. I'm not the typical kind of inbound or marketing guy, so my background was always data, CRM, RevOps. Before we called it RevOps, so it was really sales and marketing operations. And the last 3 years I really have really spot on my focus 100% on HubSpot there, and I help customers and also HubSpot solution partners in complex scenarios. So normally they call me when the stuff gets a little bit complex, when and when it's not when it's non-standard. So I'm not the guy who does always some standard onboarding. So I'm more the guy who does the special stuff in there. Yeah.
We can't figure it out, Mario. Here, please take it.
something like this. And maybe one thing I can tell, because it's very new. So a long time. So I'm now working with HubSpot about 7 years, something like that. And I always was a passive user of the HubSpot community, so the normal HubSpot community. And some months ago, I started really interacting with it. And now I'm the first Austrian HubSpot community champion. So thank you.
Yes.
and
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Congrats.
and that's cool, because it's only one person in Germany and one in Switzerland, and it's I think only 99 people in the whole on the whole earth, so on the whole HubSpot community. So it's really something which is
awesome.
great. Yeah,
Congrats. 7 years and starting to interact most recently. What, in the past year, the past 6 months?
Yeah, something like that.
Feel?
So it's so you have to really be there and always answer questions and bring in some ideas and doing some stuff, so you get points for everything, and you have to have a good amount of points collected before they consider you to become a HubSpot community champion. So it's a cool
Love
thing.
it. Congrats. And the idea of you running your own consultancy and digging into those hard problems is really the reason why, when I feel like we have a discussion, you're able to pick apart what it is I'm saying or the problem we're talking about into all of the pieces, make sure those are all good before we can ever find some solutions. And it's very obvious that you run a consultancy because you're so good at breaking things down.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's what you're doing now. That's where you're at now. Let's go back to 7 years ago. What sparked this whole HubSpot journey for you? What's that story like?
So before being self-employed, I was 10 years in IT, starting as an IT consultant, and then going the way all up to marketing and sales. So from the pre-sales to sales to marketing and so on, and then becoming manager. And then I had the opportunity to work with a big international startup, which was more in the scale up kind of phase. So we had a ramp up from 350 employees to 850 in 1.5 years, something like this. Okay. And then we needed somebody who does the marketing automation and also the CRM and also the sales automation. And at this point, HubSpot was only a marketing tool. There was no CRM, there was no sales stuff. So I was a Salesforce guy first, like most of the RevOps guys, and HubSpot was the marketing tool we had to use. And there, in this crazy kind of scaling scenario, I had so many bloody noses and collected so many failures.
Wow.
that I said I've done that then in a short amount of time at the second company, and when you do it 2 times correctly, you can earn money from it. And so then I changed into self-employment. That's the background story.
You wanted to do more of those things? Was it like, hey, I'm an IT guy, I want to do more IT, this is getting too businessy? Did they exit and move on? Or you saw an opportunity because you were capable? It's
more like I'm the builder and I'm not the holder. So that's the main reason about it. I don't like to. So I like to build the sandcastle, but then when it's finished, then take it, hold it, love it. What else? And so
you want to go build another castle.
Yeah. So I collect my castles, and I also find it very fascinating to work for different industries, for different company sizes, because to get a little bit of blindness in your own company about your processes and so on is always the same. So and now I can use the knowledge or the tactics we use in this branch or in this industry and combine it into another industry. So that's what I really like, and I'm yes, I'm really burning for optimization. So that's my
Burning for optimization. I love that.
so I hate doing things, repetitive tasks more than once. So also in my little business, some people call me crazy what I have as an, I should say, IT setup for my one-person company. But yeah, it's automated.
It works for me. Yeah, I don't work for it. It works for me. I totally get that, and I love that about you. Maybe that's one of the things, I don't know that we've necessarily touched on, but it's just like how it works is that as you're in multiple portals, you just by being in them and just by tackling different problems in different portals, you're just going to bring that knowledge to the next one. And even like you're saying, cross industries, you're now able to take this mindset that you used over here and apply it in this, and then apply it in that. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things.
And the crazy thing is that normally when people start fresh with HubSpot, they normally have they feel like after a small amount of time like they are a superstar because HubSpot is so easy to use. Yeah. But the thing is that the complex stuff is not the tool. It's always the organization, the processes, the adoption, everything like this. And so when I do a project, I always say it's 80% around strategy, processes, organization, documentation, and 20% is the tool. And I think this, how should I say, this differentiates really a good project where the customer is happy, where the processes are working, from just a HubSpot setup. And I always say, for example, I really love HubSpot, but what I don't like, for example, is this kind of attitude some people have. They're like, you don't need a project for us. Our tool is so simple, just log in and use it. And then people get $2,000 onboarding projects, and then you have a naked tool and the customer is unhappy. There. And you really have to see it as a whole system and not as a HubSpot tool. 80% of the project is really, or the major impact about the project is really how you make the strategy, how you make the architecture, the processes, the organizations, the data layer, and also training and adoption. That's one of the biggest things in the project.
And pause right there. I'll interrupt you. 80%. Everything you just said is tool agnostic.
It's tool agnostic, yeah. It's completely tool agnostic. Yeah.
And you're saying that's 80%. If you're 7 years of experience in Salesforce before that, that's 80% of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the other 20 is
it's the tool. Yeah,
it's the tool itself.
In kind of, how should I say, in the age of low code, no code, workflow builders like HubSpot has, or also API standards we have right now, the complexity is not the tool. So yeah, there may be some custom applications which have to be developed, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I get it. But that's not, how should I say, the major impact if a project wins or fails. So that's not the key.
So a little bit of interpretation then. Is it fair to say that 80% of your time is spent on adoption and the strategy and architecture with people?
Getting the organization ready for it. That's interesting. In summary. So right.
So that's where it came from. That's what you love. That's why we're talking about this, because that's the stuff that you love. And that's what really got you on this track you're in after Salesforce. Okay, walking back through it. I'm there. Yeah. So we have you in the beginning. We have you now. Can you tell us a couple milestones you've hit along the way that you're proud of, that you've either accomplished, or a company you worked with, or a new country you worked with, whatever they may be?
Yeah. So, as I said a little bit before, I think my greatest milestone of working with or in RevOps was this big project we had where we set up Salesforce from scratch, where we set up HubSpot from scratch, and we really delivered it over an organization which really made a new office every second week. So, and they hired new people, or for example, also bought an existing company there, which we have to include. And there, I learned everything about how to get people fast ready to use something you define. Because I learned how to do this. Because you can be a great consultant and you can make a 50-page long strategy paper, how cool HubSpot will be. But when this is not transferred into adoption, you're finished. So, and this is one of my biggest milestones. And the other one was that at the beginning of my self-employment, I founded one of the biggest HubSpot agencies in Austria. So the company has existed before, but the business unit was new. There with two other guys, which were already the founder of this kind of company. And there I learned how to really also design standard operating procedures which you can use over projects, how to design great material which you can use over many projects. So my IP is really, how should I say, all these documents, all this stuff I built around to help the customer to really have a great onboarding or project experience there. So I left this company as a member of the board, but I'm also senior partner there. So I'm an external internal, as you would say, and till today delivering there some HubSpot projects. But yes, from a milestone perspective, I would say these are the two things in kind of experience. And the other things is working and talking always with great people in the RevOps, in the sales ops field. I am a complete book nerd, so I really try to read every book around this topic, around CRM, about sales enablement, which I get. There are some great stuff like the Ask You Answer. For example, this book is really great. Then I don't know if you know Winning by Design. It's also like a sales enablement, funnel design, architecture technique you can use. So how do you design really great sales playbooks? So I always try to suck in all the knowledge. And I have a Notion database with thousands of pages where I try to store this stuff for me. So it's my second brain so that I can refine it later. And I hope these are milestones.
Interesting.
But
Interesting that you have a Notion. So do you take active notes as you're reading or
Always.
and after?
Always. I have the problem when I only read through something, I lose about 80% of the stuff. Yeah. And so I don't take a transcript, don't get me wrong, but when normally, how should I say, when you read a business book, about, I would say, 5% of the knowledge in there is generic, new, and strong, and the other words is to wrap the other stuff around it. It's a book. And
Agreed. I do the same thing with books. It's like I know I'm reading this, and most of it I already know. I need to read it though, so I can find the 5% that I don't.
Yeah.
But I've started to just take it as validation, right? As like, good. Okay, so I'm confirming that 95% is good. Keep doing that stuff. But the Notion database, that's a life hack to have a second brain to go back to. It's not a third place, like they say, your home and your work, and then your third place. It's a second brain where you can tap back into it But then you also offboard it too. You don't feel like you have to keep it.
I also do this with HubSpot workflows, because normally you get you have a crazy scenario and you get this scenario twice. and okay, I think I've built something like this in the past, and then go to the Notion database, search for it, and then hopefully find find the right thing, and then I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah,
love that. All right, so let's go back. You had these milestones that you're proud of, the process for. When you say, let's go back to the first one, because you said something crazy. They are opening up an office every 2 weeks, which is crazy. And they're also additionally buying other businesses to bring in for M&A activity.
Yeah.
Was that an implementation you did? Or was it an implementation plus the continual onboarding of all of these businesses and people? And how long did that last? That's crazy.
It was crazy because the founder, so it was an B2B SaaS startup, and the founder was really fascinated by Starbucks and this cluster bombing methodology, where say, okay, now I have a big investment, so they got a big external fund, and then they said, okay, now let's build up a store or a company. So it's not really a store in each country, which is important for us, and also always do the search if it's better to buy something or to so make or buy.
Right.
And I was responsible for the sales and marketing processes. So my thing, so overall for this all countries, so I had two teams, so a sales ops teams and a marketing ops team, and it was always like we really made a blueprint how to onboard a new company, and this was always like so we really refined our way. And it was crazy because when you have so many different companies, you have some other problems you never had before. So you have to translate the playbooks. You have to, for example, deliver Salesforce or HubSpot into countries which aren't that good in English, but there is not a local language. How you in the tool? So something like this. So there were some crazy scenarios, and then I always try to when I have when I have a solution for a problem, I always try to collect it and yes, in my second brain, and then I said that before, and
I'm sensing a theme here, and it makes a lot of sense, and I love that it's very honest and transparent. So I'm just going to call it out that your SOP, you continue to talk about documentation, process, and adoption, and then using that to move on to the next step. So even in this case, where maybe the new business that they acquired wasn't the exact same as all the other ones, you at least had a SOP to work from, because all of this stuff you know what to definitely do with. Anything above and beyond that, one, doesn't fit in here, and so two, it's separate. You can deal with it as its own unique piece.
That's true.
and that's just, now it sounds like the way you work. Like, it's just so obvious that is a path to success for you.
Yeah, it's always like I hate the term transformation because it really was written into each marketing letter or thing I found, but I like more the structure and change management. It's normally the thing I call it strategy, structure, and change management. But it's obvious, but it isn't done normally. So how a typical CRM project works, sales goes to IT and says, oh, we need a CRM, and they do a requirements collection of something, and then they buy something, and then they try to do it with this kind of consulting firm, and nobody asked the real questions before, and nobody has the strategy, and then there's a problem. And this is always something, how should I say, where I try to make my customers aware of. When you do the right stuff, it really costs money. So,
Right.
but then after you did it, then you save tons and tons and tons of money, and that's the thing. So that's the RevOps, how should I say, methodology.
Methodology, strategy, structure, and change management.
Yeah.
Is that a Mario exclusive? Is it, or am I just off the beaten path of not having read that book?
No, I think how I do it, it's kind of like of an individual way. But yes, it's also, how should I say, I don't cook a completely another soup. So I take some things also from different people, which has to be proven to work. But I think how I do it in kind of this holistic ways, maybe a little bit unnormal or a little bit different to some other companies out there.
So we're going to switch you from Super HubSpot Mario to Bruce Lee, because your methodology, no way is the way. Be water.
Yeah, but that's a good analogy.
Yeah. For those of you out there, super admins watching, go watch Bruce Lee and his talk about being water and being a teapot. All right. So we did a couple milestones in between your goalposts. Let's go back through from the beginning to end. Tell us some stories about some people you've met, some people who were either a mentor or just were like helpful to you along the way. That one you want to call out, but two might have a fun story too.
No problem. So one of the, so how should I say? It's a funny thing, because I was always the guy who was into processes and structure and so on. But what I haven't learned when I doing my self-employment is how to sell myself and how to really transfer this value I bring to a company. So I had problems with that in the beginning. There were two guys from my former HubSpot agency. So it's Jürgen Hamm and Michael Oettel. They both will watch that and know and will know that I talk about them. And they are really sales kings. So they had about 20 years and call agency, where they really hard sell outreach campaigns, blah, blah, blah. So that was their main, and also a sales academy where they train really SDRs, account managers, and so on and so on. And I, who comes from the technical process side of you, really got a deep dive into how sales actually work. And this really also broadens my horizon of how to better understand salespeople. So because there were some times where I thought they were lazy, or why they don't use the CRM and get these really good insights. Because the problem is, when you work in a big corporation, you don't have everyday sales contact. So you talk with them, but it's not you're not really side by side them. And I think that's maybe something which I would suggest every HubSpot admin is doing. So grab some time and drive with your sales rep one day to the customers.
Yes, I'm going to interrupt you. If you're a super admin listening, or if you have any way of influencing what's happening in your HubSpot portal, go talk to a marketing person and a salesperson and a service person about their experiences day to day.
Yeah. And also, when I've made some I've made some outreach calls and so on, and there you find out problems you never had on the plate before, because you never was thinking of. And I am really thankful for this experience. So I used it.
So what was it about them? Yeah, were you able to watch them or listen to them? Did they teach you explicitly?
Yes, both. So
Wow.
on the one hand, he teach me and really coach me on that, and on the other hand, I said I want to be an Azubi with you one day and with you one day. I said no problem. So get on the car, pick up a suit, and let's go. That was cool, and
That's awesome. It's awesome they're open to it. And they were good enough where you felt like you got value from what you saw. It wasn't, well, listen, and hopefully you can glean, it wasn't this laissez-faire. It seems that they were involved and actively wanting to show you good stuff.
Yeah, as an expert, you often have the problem that you think in solutions and you have a completely other level of understanding of the customer problem. And I often have the problem that the customer was telling me something and say, okay, great, blah, 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 blah. And I was painting and I completely lost them. And get this abstraction level of a really good sales guy to say, okay, I translate the shit that Mario draw on the board into what it's bringing you. So what the value you get from it. That was really awesome. It was like, oh. I was really like, so, now I understand what's my problem.
I love that you just said that, and I'll give an example, and you tell me if I'm going the wrong direction here, but in the case where a customer is talking to you about something that they have going on, and you start to paint this broad picture of the solution and how it'll work and blah, 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 a salesperson might just say, so you won't have to worry about that because it'll be an automatic report. Right, like that's what a salesperson would say.
Yeah.
And you're wanting to talk about the workflow and the properties and then how you map them, and they're like, "Shut up! Just tell them it'll be taken care of."
Yeah, it's like when you would, as a customer, go into the car selling store and you want a new BMW, and it tells you every kind of little detail about the engine and the electronics or something like that. No, give me the fucking car. So,
will it run when I hit the accelerator? Okay.
Yeah.
Agreed. That makes sense. Yeah. Thank you, salespeople out there, if you're listening, those of you who are listening, for your ability to translate technologist solutions into selling speak, into marketing speak, into something that's helpful to customers.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, are there others you would like to call out from recently or in the past year and a half here?
There are some RevOps people I really follow and get some advice from, but honestly, I didn't get the name right now. So I have to go on LinkedIn.
We'll tag you in the comments. Don't worry about it.
Okay, then let's take them in the comments, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not good with names.
Yeah. All right, so then we can now move on to our final question, which is always fun and interesting more for me. And I think people listening, hearing about how a super admin like you, who is cross-portal and dealing as a consultant with multiple different business sectors, where you see yourself in 10 years. And so if Mario in 10 years was here talking to you, what would he say to you, and what would he be doing that he would want to explain himself? I love this.
Yeah, that's not easy, but I will try. So one thing I really will or do not want to change anytime soon is my self-employment. I really love it. So I work 100% from home. I enjoy time with my kids, time with my family. I can really should say, include my work-life balance in a great way, and that's so cool for me to be my own boss. So when there will be when HubSpot will actually maybe go bankruptcy, and I no other client, or then maybe I have to be employed again. But till this happens, I will stay self-employed. That's one thing, and I would say do this or stay on this track. That's one thing. The other thing I would say is I've kind of always being a little bit. I push myself a little bit around, and because I like strategy and process, and I also like technology. And often it's kind of for me it's kind of difficult to pick what I do and where I say no, I don't do this for my customers, and because I don't want to be that guy who sets up standard stuff. So it's not. I should say this is somebody who with lesser experience maybe can do, or I don't want to. How should I say? I don't want to say that I'm only do the high level stuff. I also do some very basic technical stuff, but for me it would be great to sharpen my position in the next years, and maybe I'm also thinking about extracting my my knowledge in RevOps completely from the technology level again. I'm thinking about that, and let the whole HubSpot stuff somebody else in my team do something like this. And there I'm. The head goes round and round, and I don't have the clear or the clean message yet, and maybe that would be something. I hope that in some years it's clear for me, or maybe not. I don't know.
Or it sounds like maybe you have someone who does it, and so for you it's clear because they do it.
Yeah, and one thing maybe. I would tell myself, and also tell everybody else there, start being open, start pushing content. So long time I was a best kept secret because nobody. Also I had few connections on LinkedIn. I always was. I had enough projects, but I wasn't in that kind of. Broadly known, and yeah, so start pushing yourself, posting content, start doing podcasts, start doing everything which brings you into a broader audience helps. So because I think everything I do makes some new connections, which helps me in the future, which some stuff I have to deal there. So that is something it's hard because you have a daily business, and it's hard because it's for me who isn't that kind of completely extrovert stage master, blah blah blah. It's always kind of a little bit tricky to do videos or to do what else, something like this. Also when it's not my mother tongue. And yeah, but that's a tip I would give myself always.
2032, be posting. Hopefully you're still doing what you're doing, and maybe someone else is doing the other stuff that will get it off your brain. How old will your kids be? Will your kids be out in 10 years?
So they are 9, 7, 5, and 4. So
team. Okay, couple in high school, couple out.
Yeah, it depends. So it will also depend on economic circumstances if they will stay or leave sooner. So
understood. Well, Mario, appreciate you being here with me, and just wanted to say big thanks to all of the love and support you've given me and other super admins over the past 3 months. July 1st is coming up soon, and that'll be our 3-month anniversary. And you've been there ever since the soft launch. So thanks to you. Where can people find you to reach out?
Mostly on LinkedIn. So that's my main kind of platform. I'm online. I have a YouTube channel for German HubSpot tips and tricks. So normally also, I'm sorry for it, but my HubSpot posts on LinkedIn are in German language normally. So it's my main target group. So I have to focus on there. But yeah, so ask me anything on LinkedIn or also on the Discord server from HubSpot, Super HubSpot admin. So I'm also there.
Super HubSpot Mario on LinkedIn for German content. I know I still read it because LinkedIn does a nice job of just giving me a translation, which is really nice, so I can still read all of your content. You'll know that you're at the right spot when you see the mushrooms from Mario at the top. That's our Mario. Love the branding, love the energy and the content that you bring, and thanks so much for being such a resource for HubSpot super admins.
Yeah, thank you too for your engagement. So I'm always, I'm always a little surprised how you do that complete stuff you're doing. So newsletter, this is all okay. So it's every day there's some grant on some portal, email inbox or Discord or so yeah, great work there too. So to give you the flowers, and yeah, thanks for being here.
All right, we'll talk to you and see you on the next podcast.
For sure.
Take care.
Bye.
Becoming the HubSpot Super Admin podcast is available at HubspotSuperadmin.com or wherever you get your podcast.